This particular video, I don't want to say it's an emotional one, but the realization of this took me a long time. When I say it took me a long time, I had to go through so many things. First of all, I had to go through so many things to come to this realization. I hope that this video is that realization for you and you're able to apply the tips I share with you today and, manage your relationships. Anyways, let's get into the video. If you constantly feel stressed, strained, or completely drained, or maybe stretched too thin, then it means that you have a boundary problem. Reality is, not everybody needs access to you. And today, we are breaking down how to set boundaries without feeling guilt. So, first of all, what are boundaries and why do they matter? There are things you put in place to safeguard your heart, first of all. My husband would always say, give people a photocopy of your heart. Don't give them your heart. Because human beings hume, according to Pastor M. So you would want to set structures in place such that if somebody should do something to you, you do not react or you do not get utterly frustrated or drained or stressed or feel like maybe you're probably doing so much. So now why do boundaries matter? The first one is the responsibility pie by Dr. Henry Cloud. Yeah, it states that you're responsible for your own emotions and not that of another person. And so the way you react to a situation is 100% your responsibility. So if somebody does something to you, if somebody behaves in a certain way towards you, the way you react is your responsibility. You can't say, oh, this person made me act like this. No, you are 100% responsible for the way you reacted. The second reason why boundaries are important are found in studies that talk about stress and burnout. When somebody is a chronic people pleaser, there would be an increase in cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and that leads to mental exhaustion. And that is the place I've been and a place I'm never going back to. And I hope you also take note from from what I'm sharing with you today. Okay, so Anna, you've talked about boundaries. Yeah, you've talked about why boundaries are important. What are some ways we can set healthy boundaries? I'm going to give you 5 strategies that will help you do just that. The first one is define your limits. Know what is non negotiable for you. So, in order to do this, you need to ask yourself, what drains me the most? Whether it's a friendship or a work relationship, what drains me the most? Ask yourself this question. Once you identify those things, you'll be able to know them and note them, and then you can set boundaries around those areas. And it's also worthy of note that these areas that we're talking about, the ones that drain you the most, are the ones where you should set stronger boundaries. So your boundaries in this regard should be stronger than every other boundary. The things that drain you of emotional and mental energy. The second one is use clear and direct language. So many times, because I do not want to hurt the other person's feelings, I find myself over explaining the reason why I can't do this, the reason why I can't do that. But you can just simply say, oh, I can't commit to this right now. And you don't need to give anybody any explanation. You don't need to go into so much detail so that the person doesn't get hurt. I understand that friendships can be like that. I understand that even work relationships can be like that. But check yourself. And if this thing is a stressor, you would really want to remove it. Yeah. And honestly, ask yourself, it's not like you should do something for somebody because the person is going to reciprocate, but would this person actually do the same thing for you? Would this person actually go to the same length for you? Like I said, that's not the reason why you should do anything for anybody. You are free to do as much as you want to for anybody at any given time. But when it is beyond your control, when it is something that you can't put up with, not because you're used to doing things for people that you just say, oh, okay, let me just do it. After all, this is what I. No, no. As long as you're not in the right frame of mind, you're not in the right situation at that point in time, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say, I can't handle this right now, and you do not need to explain. The third way is the broken record technique. So you'd always, this is from CBT Therapy, by the way, you'd always have situations where you tell somebody, oh, I can't commit to this, and then the person tries to persuade you or tries to push back and say, oh, but, oh, and, instead, don't give in, okay? Why do I feel like I'm teaching you bad things? Why do I feel like I'm trying to make you a hard person? That's not the point of this conversation. I'm just talking about setting healthy boundaries, especially when you feel drained. Okay, I need to say this in clear terms so that we are not misunderstood. When you feel drained, when you feel stressed, like I said, the first thing to do is to identify what the stressors are. And once you identify them, you have to set strong boundaries around them. So if it's in relationships with people, then you need to set strong boundaries around your relationship so you do not get burned out. But it could also be at work. Okay, you need to set clear boundaries at work. So the broken record technique is very simple. When someone tries to push back, you have to reaffirm your boundaries by saying, I still can't commit to it now. It's as simple as that. The first way is don't absorb other people's reactions. This might be a bit hard to do because most often we are triggered by another person's reaction to something we say or something we do. So let's say you're trying to have a civil conversation with someone and then the person is all agitated and is talking anyhow. Maybe the person is showing signs of rage and then you're triggered because first off, you're wondering, why is this person talking to me like this? Like, onto what levels? You're probably wondering, like, what's going on here? Yeah. Remember that you are responsible for your emotions and not the other person's. So the other person can rage on. You should allow the other person to rage on as much as the other person wants to rage. But you need to control your own emotions. You do not need to react because another person is reacting. And then finally, which is the most important, please be like Jesus. Follow Jesus's example. Okay, so if you go through Luke chapter 5 and if you go through Luke chapter 5, you'll see where a large crowd came to meet Jesus because they heard that he was around. But he didn't say, oh, these people have come to listen to me. Maybe I should take out like 30 minutes to talk to them. Nope. What did Jesus do? It's here in verse 16. He withdrew to out of the way places for prayer. Jesus went out of the way to go and pray. That was more important to him at that time. Finally, saying no to wrong things protects your energy, and you need to do that. There are some people, I must admit, that are worth you stressing yourself for. There are some people that are worth you going the extra mile for. And there are people that are not even worth it, but you still have to go the extra mile for them. But in all these things, check your energy level. If it's going to deplete it by a huge percentage, then you need to take a step back, refresh your energy, and then get back to it. Yes, so that's the end of this video. I want to know what boundary you need to set in your life. So please drop it in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. And if you found this video helpful, if you found this video useful, please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and what again? There's nothing else. All right, guys. See you in the next video. Wait, have a cup of coffee before you go. Thanks for watching.